All right, fellas, we're back with Gbody Media. Just give y'all a quick update and stuff. It's Saturday. I don't have that much spare time. I got like a couple hours, so I don't do any major work. I just came out here. I tried the two nut trick on the studs that stuck. It didn't work, so I just found two extra ones that can go on there. We can get somebody to weld and get them out. I'ma still buy the nut extractor and try it, and just to keep it in the toolbox. But I don't have that much hope in it, so that's the weld way. Is the way I'm hoping to go on that. Um, I just came out here to see what all I gotta do before I start cleaning up and stuff and doing the deep clean. I gotta get the fan shroud and stuff off. And I was looking. I gotta when I go put it back together, I'm gonna have to find some hardware. I know like Gbody parts make sell boat kits and stuff, but it's missing like on the bottom shroud. Just missing a few bolts. We'll take care of that. The wiring and stuff, it ain't nothing really been cut, so it's all good. It's just probably just need to be really not even re-loom, because like this one is pretty good. But if you want to go with like the cloth style sheathing on the loom, we'll do that and just replace like the loom down here. But this is like the AC compressor wire is the only one that I seen that was cut into and then have to be repaired. I just probably use some good quality heat shrink butt connectors instead of those barrel ones, barrel style ones, and get that connection good and just go through. This the harness that's gonna retain on the car, fellas. So I know this one, the sub harness, it controls some things like I want to say one of the wires in there controlled the choke and stuff. So we're not going to be needing them, but I still have to go through and find out, identify each wire and see if we're going to use it on the next setup, because I'm not going to cut any connector or anything. But if I need to tie into any wires, because I do need like switch 12 volts constant and stuff, and we'll see what all this harness contains and stuff, and see what circuits we'll be reusing off of it. And over here, this the only that goes to the power steering, the gearbox, the steering gearbox, fellas, not the power steering pump. And this one goes right here on there. So let me see if I can get it on there with my left hand, fellas. But yeah, she clicks on right there. I'll go on and retain them if we don't necessarily have to terminate and cut anything if we don't have to, fellas. So if y'all windshield washer, you turn on your windshield washer and you try to clean your windows and it don't work, this is the pump and it's just held in by a clip. But you gotta take your wiper motor off. And like, it's fairly simple, but with the fender on, it's kind of hard. It ain't hard, it's just these two bolts right here are fairly simple. It's the one that's down there can be a little tricky. And if you got like, I'm skinny so I can get to it, but it's kind of hard to get to if you're a big guy. And it's just a rubber line that connects and it goes. It is a pump shit off the windshield washer reservoir, and it goes and it connects to your squirters right here. So if that goes out, it's right there, fellas. What else I gotta do? I'm gonna have to come out here tomorrow, and I'm gonna get me I gotta find out what nut is on the crank, so I can roll it over on top dead center and stuff. You know, they had all the spark plugs marked and stuff, so that'd be fairly simple. You know, on the Chevy, the engine rotates clockwise. On the Oldsmobile, it's counterclockwise. So yeah, this is number one. Like on my Oldsmobile, number one is gonna be back here, fellas. And then on my Oldsmobile, it goes this way. This one goes this way. So I'm gonna have to come out here and just roll it over until the rotor pointer points right here on the compression stroke. And then I can I'd be comfortable with pulling the distributor and stuff. But that ain't nothing major I have to do. But what else? It's fairly dirty, but that's where all the cleaning come in there. You just gotta take your time and stuff, fellas. I go with oven cleaner for all like the stuff on the block, like down there and stuff. I use oven cleaner and let it sit and it comes right off. But as far as the firewall, um, it's hard getting to it with the motor in there to get everything cleaned up and painted good. So I see what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get it to look real good. Um, if I get that distributor out and stuff, I'll be able to get the most of it and stuff and get the cruise control module off. It'll be good to go. But we are gonna have to go with the electric pump with the TBI setup. We're gonna go with the in-tank pump. I tried the inline pumps, and if you don't get like a $500 Holly or one of those good ones, like $700, they're gonna go out on you eventually, especially in the summer. All through the winter it lasted, but as soon as it hit summer, and I went on my Sunday cruise and stuff, it went out. I bought 3 of them, they all went out, and I was like, forget that, I'm gonna go with an in-tank pump. And I bought a Holly 340 EFI pump. I can use it if I wanted to use E85, I could. It was about 100 or so bucks, and I done had that sucker in there. It didn't give me no problem. So he don't need nothing that's that big. With the TBI, it's like 13 psi. So he can go with like he can really go with like the regular Grand National pump if he wanted to, or just any of the in-tank pumps that came on the TBIs are good. Or if you want to step it up, go with like the Grand National pump. And we're gonna have to. The TBIs does come with a built-in regulator on the TBI unit, but I used a Wallboard 255, and that pump was really too big for the regulator. So we might have to use an external regulator to knock it down to get it to its sweet spot, which is like 9 to 13 psi. That's where they like to live at. But they reliable and stuff. It ain't for like a lot of performance and stuff, but I do have a performance throttle body and stuff, so it's gonna give it a little bit more, but it's just for the reliability and stuff. You like your stuff when you go out there to crank right up and stuff. That's what I like. The carburetors and stuff, if you know them and stuff, they good. I ain't gonna lie, man. If you know your way around them, it's good, but it was a little bit before my time. My time was like the TBIs and stuff. I grew up in the Gbody era and the OBS trucks and stuff. Like the guys that live during the muscle car era, they got a whole different perspective on cars that like for guys that like us, like they are all into like the carburetors and stuff, like LS swaps and stuff. They is frowned upon to them, which is understood. But you know, I like everything. I don't really like judge nobody. If you got a 305 from a big block to an LS, it don't really matter to me. I'ma like your stuff if you do a good job and stuff. But we gonna get it to be real reliable, man. And I had that set up on my car for like 2.5 years, and it's gonna do what it do. And I did take the top off, fellas, and they ain't have no rust or nothing. I just still gotta go in and clean it up. I just gotta do that part right there. I came in on the sides. I don't even think I really had to do it. It had a little surface rust, but you know, if you know about the G-Bots, they use lead right here. So I don't know if I would have had to do it or not. But it just had like a little couple of spots of surface rust I knocked down with my wire wheel, with my wire brush, and hit it with some rust converter. And I know his trunk was all in real great shape. It wasn't no rust, no rot. It was just a little surface rust in the spare wheel. And I knocked that down with my wire brush also and hit it with the rust converter. You know, like these spots is where G-Bodies really like to rust out, fellas. Like, they just collect trash, especially if you don't have them under a carport or garage kept. They just collect leaves and stuff, and moisture builds up, like in these areas, and it rots them out. But you can tell this is in great shape. And what I did when I didn't have a carport, I just came out every Saturday and got all the leaves off, like dusted them all out and stuff, especially up here too. That's what I used to do, just come out here and just make sure it's clean and stuff. That way it don't never, the screen don't never build up and you don't never have no problem with leakage or nothing. But this is a major issue, fellas. When you remove the factory harness, you know the factory harness, if you know about it or you ever seen it, the grommet is formed to the harness, and it's formed to the harness for a reason, That's why it prevents leaks. And if you know, the harness, the grommet will go in like this, and it curves up and forms to the harness. And the reason they did that is because when the water comes down, if you don't have that grommet seal, the water is gonna leak onto the harness, and it's gonna run inside the grommet. And when I did mine, that's exactly what happened, fellas. And I do a water test. Like once I get it back in, I have the hose, and I just let it drip right here. And I go inside and I see where the water coming in at, if it did. And I had a lot of leaks, fellas. It was coming in from the seam seal, a little bit from the seam seal on the floor, and the grommet. And I used the Spear Tech grommet, and it's a great grommet. It fits perfect, but the harness is not sealed. So I had to go in there with some black Dynaflex and seal it up. So if you ever swap it out, make sure you have a good plan on your grommet. And when you do get it all together, just do the water test, fellas, because this is you see it's a big hole, so that's where a lot of water come in at. And also right here where your antenna grommet is, water can get in right there too, fellas, and leak down. So it's a few areas over here that you got to look out for. But his is in great shape, fellas. I'm gonna go in. It ain't nothing really major. No wires major I gotta fix on the inside, like in the back and then all of these connections was pretty good. I gotta source this one. I think I put this one in here because this is one of the wires I had. I probably was working on something in here and just left it in there. But like all the headlight horns, these, they haven't really been touched, fellas, so it's in all great shape, you feel me? So we'll just have to go through and clean it up and check all the connections. We do got to take out the condenser because you got to go with a parallel flow when you switch from R12 to 134A. I don't know if we're going to reuse the intake or not. Probably not. We'll get a new one, because if we do, we'll have to get an EGR block off and stuff like that. And 305 intakes ain't that much, but I don't want him to throw a lot into this setup. It's just like a budget cruiser build, just to keep it on the road and have something nice. So when he either build his LS or get a 380, he's looking at a 383, fellas, but he do got a 5.3. When he get that built, or whichever direction he want to go to, that's what's he can throw most of the money into. Like this, just clean it up, get it on the road, and get it real reliable. You know, you ain't gotta spend $40,000 and $60,000 on your bill starting out, fellas. Like I don't got. You'll be surprised how much I got in the Lucille, fellas. I'm not gonna lie. And all my stuff is documented from the time I bought it. I got this app on my computer, and every time I bought something for it, I logged it in, and just say like, if I took something off the car, like when I switched from TBI setup to the Holly, I went in and I deleted all the TBI stuff I bought because I took it off the car. So the price that I got in there is all the parts that I put in there. And I done the labor myself. The only labor that I ever paid for is when I got my transmission rebuilt and put in. And I did pay a guy to, I rented his lift to, when I did put my motor in, he was doing a little thing like, you can rent my lift. And I rented his lift. It was like, if you want me to help you out, I charged like, I think he charged 50 or 60 bucks. It was kind of steep, like 40 or 50 bucks an hour he charged to help me out. Like, and every hour he'll stop his clock and he'll be like, where the money at? But you know, I went that route. But I got a good consistent price of what I done spent in it, man. And I'm a little over 21,000, fellas, and that's just an Oldsmobile. People wouldn't believe it. If you look at it, you'll be like, man. But if you look at my spreadsheet, you can go through and look at each part, and you can walk over to the car, and you'll be like, yep, that part is right there. You know what I mean? And this is not cheap, fellas. Like, and that was over a span of like 4.5, 5 years, fellas. It's like, I wouldn't have the money to just throw 20 grand in it at once. I wouldn't even do it. But that's just over the span of 4 or 5 years, fellas. And that's a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears. It ain't a cakewalk. You're going to have a lot of problems, like the studs getting stuck. That's just stuff you run along with. It's a headache. It causes you a little bit more work, but that's something when you doing this, you know that's coming. You know that stuff coming, fellas. That's what I already know. I know I'm gonna keep spending, dropping money in my car. Before it's all said and done, I probably have a good smooth 60 grand into it. But that's what I want, fellas. Not you'll never get it out of it, But it's an ask for every seat, and it'd be worth it to somebody. But on paper, it probably wouldn't be worth it. You know what I mean? But you only live once. So how I like to do it, I like to have something to show for my money, and I like to have something to show for my time. That's when I open my hood, I feel proud. Even though it's just an Oldsmobile 455 smog motor, man, I'm damn proud of it, and I worked hard for it. And I made plenty of mistakes in my life, fellas. I'm not gonna lie, I hit rock bottom and everything. Now, whatever you think you done or been done, I done it, fellas. Like, I done made a lot of stupid mistakes. And when my mom passed, man, I was fed up, and I wanted to change my life. I wanted her to be proud of me, what I'm doing down here. I didn't want to be out here doing nothing idiotic, stupid, or putting a bad rep on my name or my family name. So this what I love to do. You ain't gonna catch me out in the streets or in the club or nothing like that, fellas. My spare time is dedicated to Gbodys, and that's what I love to do. But if you work hard enough, man, you can have something. It ain't gotta be like what everybody else like. Your car don't have to have 26s and 24s on it, fellas. Like, I know they nice and stuff, but they like 8 grand, 10 grand. And I just can't see myself going into my old lady and be like, I just spent $8,000 on some damn wheels. I just can't do it, fellas. One day in life, at one point in stage in life, I might get there, fellas. And that'll be fine if I be able to do it like that. But now I just can't justify nothing like that. I ride good with my Oldsmobile small motor, And I don't have to have the LS. I don't have to ride the wave that everybody else riding. If you go to a car show, man, everybody's car is exactly the same. And with me, fellas, like those custom paint jobs and stuff, they don't get me wrong, they nice as hell. But like, I like stuff that's timeless. Like, all that custom stuff, in a couple of years, it'll be out of style, fellas, and you'll have to redo it. And you just spent 60, 80 grand on your setup. And now, but people, if you got the money, like they say, it ain't tricking if you got it. It's really not. But if you got the money, you can do whatever you want to. But with me, it's like how I look at it. I don't want to spend that much money, and 2 years down the road, it's just going to be out of style. Which, stuff like that always goes out of style, fellas. That's why I just like to do stuff that's kind of timeless. That's always going to be in style. If you do a paint job that's fairly kind of close to stock, but have its own little twist in it. Like, I repaint this the exact same color, but add like some flake and pearl in it to give it that nice glisten that, like, when you look at it, just be deep. That's what I would do, fellas. And that paint job would never go out of style. And I probably would put I wouldn't put over 22s on the car. Me personally, just for the ride quality and drivability. But everybody's different. Ain't nothing wrong with guys on big wheels. They look great. And how people are tucking them, they badass, but it's just not for me. In my pocketbook, but my wallet it don't agree with it and won't agree with it. And like, I can go with like some 20s on the rear and 18s in the front. I love that staggered muscle car look, fellas. With the big meats in the back, it just make your car look real aggressive. And you pull up in a Gbody, and people really gonna think you got just a regular old motor that's just. But if you got a little bit in it, they'll be surprised at what these cars can do, fellas. I'm not gonna lie to you. But everybody, like if you go to a car show, fellas, everybody got an LS, everybody got big wheels, everybody got their interior done custom. You rarely see these cars with just like the stock interior now. And like the stock interior, they look damn good, fellas. Like, they really do, fellas. Like, you can add them little modern touches like a Dakota digital dash, a Holly dash, get you a nice console, put in there with like some LED lights and a rear deck. That's all them cars really need to be in the interior. They don't really need to be a 2019 Porsche interior. Don't get me wrong, that's badass, fellas. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm never a hater. If you know me, the thing about me, I take stuff as motivation and inspiration. If I see something that I like, I would never be like, oh, that's just some bull crap. I'm like, man, that shit fire as hell. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? But it's fire as fuck. Like, especially what these guys can do. Like, just think about it. These guys are taking these dashes out and putting modern car dashes in there. That's fucking badass, fellas. However you look at it. If you don't even like it, it's still badass. Just like with the wheels. These cars came with like 15-inch wheels, fellas. These guys are taking the cars and putting 26s, 28s, 30s on them. Just to do that is badass. It don't matter if you don't like it. You know what I mean? And it's not for you. But just doing it, like, damn. Mug put 30s on his fucking Gbody. It's badass. And like, that's what we all gotta try to agree on, fellas. Like, let's put all this hate and shit aside, because that's what's killing us, fellas. Like, our own stupidity sells. Like, I don't see why, like, I don't get really involved with politics and stuff, because I'm like, why would I let some old stink breath motherfucker that don't care about me divide and conquer my whole life? Like, push bullshit onto me and just divide and conquer my whole life. You got me fucked up, fellas. I don't believe in bullshit like that, fellas. Like, come on. Like, people that wouldn't even piss on you if you was on fire. You think these people really care about us? They don't. I don't care if you're black, white. If you're not in their tax bracket, they don't give a fuck about you. But it is what it is, fellas. But we here for the Gbodies, man, obviously. But we just gotta learn not to, just because it's not in our culture or something, the shit still is badass and it's still awesome to us, fellas. So whatever you like, man, you can do it to your car, man. Like 305, 307, it doesn't matter. As long as you got the time and the patience with it, and you don't gotta have all the money right now, because I don't. But when I do get a little extra, I buy a part of here, stack them up, buy 10 parts, buy 5 parts, and I just go from there. And it took me like 4 or 5 years, but just look at my car, what it came. And it's not nothing special, fella. It's really not. It's just an Oldsmobile 455. You know, there's guys out here that's got 70, 80 grand in their car that's crushing mine. And shout out, salute them, because that's what they want and that's what they like, and it's badass, fellas. But for the average guy, we can have something like this and still enjoy it, fellas. So y'all stay tuned, fellas. And I promise you, I'm gonna have this car, especially under the hood, she gonna look nice, fellas. Like, whenever he take it out, he gonna be proud to open the hood. Like, if you ever go to a car show, the whole car is badass, but they don't even got the hood open because they know it. They haven't put no time or energy under the hood. It's just, they don't even care about it. So I always care about how the under the hood looks and stuff. So we're gonna get it together, fellas. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I know I was rambling around talking and stuff. I apologize for that, fellas. Y'all have a good one, man.